and which was also highlighted by RBI also in their yearly report about the commission. DFS, Finance Ministry has also spoken about the distribution cost and commission expenses. So what's your thought on this issue? That do you also think that distribution cost is very high in non-life insurance space and eventually customer only suffers?
See, I think factually, yes. I think there was a report which maybe you are also referring to. To some extent, almost like a 10 to 12 billion dollars of money goes into commission through the year as we speak, like the full financial year across all non-life life business. So this amount is huge. And more than this amount, I think the bigger issue is that the pressure it puts on the industry, right? So now if you have to shell out this much amount to go out and as in reach out to your customer base, then you have to cut it out or you have to cut corners from somewhere else. And most of the time, the pressure is on the insurance company's margin or the pressure is in terms of the customer experience, right? So that's the challenge. So if directionally the commission cost is going to go up, which has been happening for some time in the industry, it is going to put pressure on the consumer experience and it's going to put pressure on the insurance company. So it's a critical matter that has to be structurally solved. We know there are a lot of issues, a lot of things have to work together for this piece to get solved. But yeah, it's a true problem. And while we can always tag it as a number X% of commission, but the underlying issue goes into how the insurance is designed, how the claim is processed, how the insurance company build their capabilities to service the user. All these things come under pressure, which effectively leads to under penetration of insurance and people are underserved in India.
So do you also think that this commission structure is high because in India still insurance is sold and not bought by the policyholders?
I think there are multiple root causes. One is obviously the commission component. This commission component leads to two things. One is if the companies are solving for the transaction, for the commission or the intermediary revenue, then the kind of product which you will design, and then those products, the way they are serviced, all these things will get complex, right? And once it get complex, then the adoption gets slow. So that's one. The other larger issue to a good extent is the affordability itself. So the insurance product has to have a fair price point. So if the commission is baked into that, obviously that also goes up and people don't see value in the product. So again, all these dots are connected together. Maybe one of the root causes obviously high cost of distribution. When you create the product in a complex way, then you have to push. So this is a vicious cycle then that you create a complex product, you need high assistance to sell the product or explain the product. It leads to, again, there's a requirement of advisory or assistance, which again demands commission or intermediary cost. And then this loop goes on, right? So somewhere this loop has to stop
continues
to make the product more, like you said, bought by the user instead of pushed to the user.
Okay. So, Animesh, as we know that this issue is raised by Finance Ministry, IRDA, and even by the RBI also. So, if tomorrow, if a Finance Minister calls you and asks you for two suggestions of this whole problem, what would be your two suggestions to break this jinx?
No, I think one larger component is at the, if I can call it at a policymaker level itself, they have to pick up this problem statement and do a structural solve. So when I think of structural solve, there are two, three pieces. One important aspect is what is the true value of distributing the product, right? So the mandatory part is that there are certain combination. I'll just take one example. So for brand new car insurance, which is mandated by law, like people have to buy car insurance when they own any vehicle, car or two-wheeler for that matter. When they own any vehicle, it is mandated to buy insurance for that transaction. As we know, for any new transaction or new car when you purchase or a new vehicle you purchase, most of the time the insurance is attached, or if I can even use the word forced in the transaction itself, and customers are not aware. So what it leads to is a high cost of premium or high cost of the product for them, right? So it needs those structural solve where any product which is indirectly mandated to the customer, there cannot be high distribution cost involved. So that kind of intervention has to be taken. The other part is obviously awareness. So if I have to take a very simple example, awareness can come from you put across the commission value which you are paying in the policy document itself. So if I'm an intermediary and I'm selling a product, there is a commission component which has to be written in the policy, which the customer can actually, and then there should be campaign for people to people should be educated on that. You can check the commission which you are paying on your policy. So these two things, one is on certain segments of
Animesh, you are
transaction
saying that
like health
the
insurance or
commission
retail
should be
insurance.
written on their policy document. Do you think that in
Yes.
country like India, where agent workforce is so strong, it can be possible? I only did a story just few year back, and there was so much of hue and cry, and IRDA came up with a clarification that we have no such proposal to write a commission on the insurance policy. So, do you think it can be possible in country like India?
See, there are two aspects, right? What is possible, not possible is an outcome. What is the first principle logical thing, right? What are you trying to do? You're trying, anyways, today also, the product, see, what you're selling to the customer is a PDF effectively. You're writing some promises and you're saying, see, if so and so will happen, I'm going to honor this promise, right? That's what you're selling to the customer. Now, that promise has to be as transparent, as clear, as easy to understand, and should not have a section of opaqueness. Now, first principle, if you are taking a call, be it as a policymaker or be it as any stakeholder in the insurance ecosystem, if you're taking a call to not disclose this, which means you have an opaqueness in mind, right? Which doesn't make sense. So I don't know. First principle, it is not fair to hide it. If there is a cost involved, people should value that. Okay, if I'm buying a product from XYZ advisor who helped me to decide the
So
product,
there are
if
few
he or
companies.
she is
Okay, there are few companies. Do you think that they showcase, or there is a complete transparency in their policy document? They are mentioning it. Okay, this is our distribution cost.
okay, so
Do you think there are few companies, they are mentioning it in their PDF that okay, this is our distribution cost, or for this policy, this much commission we are giving to intermediaries?
no, as per my knowledge, no, I don't think so. This is proactively done, or even if it is done in some shape and form, I don't think so. Customers are made aware of that. You have this visibility, and you can actually check it. I don't think so. That awareness is there. It'll be great if any company voluntarily does this. This will be a great outcome for the industry. But as of now, at least I am not updated if any
Okay, so
company is
at the
doing it.
policy level, if this is adopted, it will be beneficial for customer, and customer trust will increase. So my next question is that only that we often hear people saying that insurance, there is no value for money, while the claim, during the claim, there are a lot of issues are there, and the products are also complex. So what whole insurance ecosystem can do to change this perception?
I think there are two fundamental problems when we think about complexity of the product. One large issue is that the design of the product, the distribution of the product, and the servicing of the product is done in silo. These are not usually connected dots. The one team designs the product, usually optimizing for transaction sales or optimizing for the revenue of the distributor's revenue. Another team focuses on just pushing those sales, and the third team is literally left to manage the claims and servicing. So these pieces have to come together. You cannot imagine product design in silo, that you have written some conditions and just go out and sell it. It has to integrate and work together with the way you want to service the product as in terms of claim. The other big issue is who are you designing this product for? Are you designing for your own sales? Are you designing it for the customer convenience? So are you designing it for faster sales, figuring out space for higher commission, or are you trying to design this for customer understanding, their real benefit, long-term affordability. I think these two mindset have to shift for a good simple product to come out, which is designed for the end user. I'll take a one quick example which will make some sense. So let's take health insurance, right? So health insurance is a it's known to be complex product in some sense. Now it can be very simple also, but just because you are speeding up your sales, you skip the medical test, or you don't design a product which needs mandatory medical test. This leads to insurers protecting themselves at the time of claim. So they put the fine print, conditions, exclusions, waiting period, all of those things, which again needs heavy assistance. So the product becomes complex. You again need someone to sell it or push it. So the same point which I was saying, right? Like you have to solve for distribution, you have to solve for the design, and these things have to work together to kind of fulfill the product in a fair way.
Okay, my final